Josh Dickey here, Sculpt Fitness TV. Wanted to bring to you another episode here. In our previous episode, which we did in the podcast, we discussed people that have desk jobs and how it is affecting their fitness and their lifestyle. And it seems to me that has really struck a nerve and is definitely a topic of conversation, because after I put out that email and put out that post, that podcast, we got a lot of emails and a lot of comments back about things that to take something a little bit more in depth. Can we do some more information on this? Can we, is there, how can you help me? Lots of different approaches from just that last email and that last podcast. So what I want to do essentially is I'd like to break down this topic a little bit more and maybe make it a few part series and just kind of start off with the basics. I mean, the biggest question that people were having was, what's one of the biggest problems that comes with people that have desk jobs all day? Whether you be a businessman, whether you be sitting in front of a computer, an IT person all day, it really doesn't make much difference. You're all going to get the same effect. But the problem is that if you are inactive, if you've been in an active lifestyle for a given period of time, and then you move into this new job or this new career that requires you to be sitting all day, starting early in the morning and then not getting home from work until later in the evening, it's going to change up your life a little bit and definitely affect your health as well as your motivation. I think the biggest problem that people are going to see with having those desk jobs is that when you sit all day, every day, 5 or 6 days a week, what's going to happen is in that seated position, it's really going to put a lot of compression on your lower back. And that's going to open up a whole can of worms for problems, down the line in the future, regardless if you are 25 or regardless if you're 55. It's going to have a negative effect. Obviously, the younger individuals are going to be able to bounce back a little bit quicker. But here at the Sculpt Fitness Gym, we definitely see a lot of our clients are between that age range of 40 and 55 that do tend to hold a lot of those desk positions. So we're seeing you're going to see a lot of compression in that lower back, and that's going to lead to a couple different problems. Number one is it's going to lead to a decrease in core strength. So the abdominal muscles, your hip flexors, the muscles along your lumbar area and your lower back are going to see extreme fatigue and extreme weakness from sitting at a desk and being in that compressed position all day long. Number two, what's going to happen is by sitting in that position where your legs are folded up like this, you're going to see have a tendency to have people have very tight hip flexors. Okay, so what that is going to do is if you've got tight hip flexors, your tendency is going to be more forward. It's going to put more stress on your lower back. It's going to, like I said, it's going to domino into a few different problems. But the one area that we're going to focus on before we go into a whole tangent of getting too scientific is the area that we're going to really focus on is the decrease in core strength and what are some things that we can do to increase strength in your core if you're going to be sitting at a desk all day. So like I mentioned just a second ago, if you're going to be sitting in a desk all day, you're going to see a decrease in your abdominal strength, in your hip flexors, and your lumbar and your lower back area. And one of the ways that you're going to have to do that is you're going to have to continuously work on flexibility in your hips, and you're going to have to work on building core strength through functional movement. So now when I say functional movement, I mean in order for you to build up core strength, we're not going to have you laying on the ground doing a number of sets of crunches. In the Sculpt at the training gym here, we're really going to have you strengthen your core very functionally. So we use a lot of kettlebells here at the gym. So there's a lot of kettlebell movements that's going to engage the core a ton through a lot of the basic movements like the kettlebell swing or a kettlebell clean and press and things of that, where your core is going to get a lot of work through the actual full body strength movements. So the one thing that you know, as far as if you're sitting in a desk job all day and your goal is to get into the gym and strengthen your core, it needs to happen through functional movement, okay? Not just through laying on the ground and doing crunches and twists and things like that. For somebody who sits at a desk all day, you're gonna have to do it through actual exercise. So movements like your squats and some plyometric jumps and lunges and push-ups and pull-ups and body weight rows and incorporating overhead work with dumbbells or kettlebells or medicine balls or whatever equipment that you have available to you. That's how it's going to have to happen. So just to give an idea, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to finish with this post and I'm going to go over some basic exercises that you can kind of incorporate into your program, regardless if you have kettlebells or if you have dumbbells. I'm just going to give you a little bit of an idea of what some functional movements are going to be in order to strengthen your core through a full body exercise and not just laying on the ground doing crunches and stuff. So our takeaway point today here is for those of you who are sitting at the desk jobs, you're going to see a huge decreased strength in your core strength, flexibility, posture, everything that goes along with that decrease in core strength. And your main goal there is you need to work into your exercise program 2 or 3 days a week, getting your body functionally strong again and increasing strength in your core, so you're going to be able to support that lower body. That way later on down the road, when you start to age and get a little bit older, you're not going to see so many structural problems in your hip and your back. So get out of that desk, get to the gym, and throw in some full body movement and to strengthen those hips and the core. So we'll be back and I'm going to show you some movements that we're going to be able to do that. So Josh Dickey here from the Sculpt Fitness Training Gym. Any questions, info@sculptfitnesstraining.com or drop a comment on the blog at sculptfitnesstraining.com.